He is the man who is taking NXT to the moon. Please welcome to After the Bell, Cameron Grimes. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Morning, Corey. Thanks for having me on here.
This is super exciting for myself. I don't have the same relationship and spend as much time around you as Vic gets to. So this is exciting for me. There are so many superstars these days that I'm like, oh, I get to or I get to watch this guy on TV. I'm digging what he's doing. Now I actually get to sit down and chat with you face to face. So this is really cool.
That's awesome,
And
man.
Grimes, you know how he's telling the truth? There's a twinkle in his eye because we're on a Zoom call doing this. Obviously, just take a look at his eyes because when they start to squint, he's genuinely excited. So, for future reference for everyone, that's how you can read Corey Graves.
Oh, I see it. That's genuine excitement. I've seen disdain in his face, but I've never seen genuine happiness.
This is unfamiliar sights for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I want to start from the beginning, man. Just for my own purposes, as well as anybody listening to this. Cameron Grimes, still relatively new to the WWE universe, but you've been in this business for a while. Give us a sort of a Cliff's Notes version as to how you broke in and where you got started.
So it all started in 1993, which is insane because that was the year that I was born. But Tracy Cadell, my father, was from Vass, North Carolina, which is a sister town to Cameron, North Carolina. So the Hardy Boys starting wrestling, my dad wanted to be all a part of that. He was just as big a fan as them. He just didn't have the talent as them. So he stored the ring in our yard, and my fondest memories are riding on the back of dirt bikes with Jeff Hardy, falling out of the ring as a child. Like those are my fondest memories, was being in the wrestling ring. And I remember like going to elementary school and stuff and being the kid that had the wrestling ring in his yard. But I didn't see that as like anything that was different because
Of course,
it,
I have a ring in my yard.
yeah, it was just what happened. So then around middle school, I fell off of wrestling. But then going into my high school year, my father had found his way back to wrestling somehow. A single father who raised me on his own. We lived with my grandma. Um, I actually shared the same room with my father from sixth grade until I graduated high school and was able to leave. Uh, just not a real good situation. But what I had at that time was I was the next door neighbors to Matt and Jeff Hardy. So I grew up very low income. Uh, and I would see these guys come home from the road, driving their Corvettes, driving their Cadillacs, going to their mansions, and that was just something that I wanted. That was something that I needed, and I always had anger problems because just a kind of a bad kind of upraising, and all it was me wanting attention and wanting to be able to show that attention and put it somewhere. And going into high school, my father ended up running a show for the school for the athletic program. And at the time, I had never seen high spot wrestling, is what I'm going to call it. Uh, I knew the Hardy Boys and I knew the style that they brought to the table, but I didn't know about independent wrestling. So this was my first independent show, almost, as a teenager. And I saw two guys. One named Kamikaze Kid, and the other is Ultra Dragon. So just based off those names, you knew that they did high spots and a
Right,
lot of.
right. Yeah, as a kid, you're just already excited based on the name alone.
Yeah, so this is the first match of that show, and these guys just went bonkers. Like it was nuts. And I remember watching that, and it all just came back to me. I was infected again by it. And right after that, I went to start going back to wrestling practice. Next thing you know, now I couldn't leave the wrestling ring. I went from being the most disciplinary kid in the school, with the most suspensions, in school suspensions, out of school suspensions, to not ever getting in trouble again because I had somewhere that I could put all that energy. And it's all been downhill from there. Uh, so every weekend I would then travel to a town called Burlington, North Carolina, which was about an
I've
hour and a half.
I've wrestled in Burlington many times.
I believe you have actually. Uh, and so I started to travel here, and then next thing you know, I'm missing all the school stuff that I probably should have been doing as a kid, but what I was learning and becoming was just far greater. Uh, so then as soon as I graduated high school, I went to like senior beach week, which was like a thing, all the seniors do. And then from that I just went right from the beach to Burlington and I never went back home. Uh, and then I decided this is it. I'm going to be a professional wrestler. So I lived a few years homeless. I was sleeping at the wrestling school on the floor, but my goal was I was going to make this. There was no way you could tell me that I wasn't going to make it. I just had too many connections and to you know in my head too much talent to believe that I wasn't going to make it. So I ended up doing a show in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I wrestled Cedric Alexander. Um, it just so happened that Kevin Owens at the time was at that show, and me and Cedric Alexander wrestled. And after that, Kevin came up to me and said, "I really like you, and I think that you would be great in PWG." I knew what PWG was, so that was just
Right. That's for those listening who might be unfamiliar. It's Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, really, really hot independent wrestling company to this day, based out of Southern California.
and at the time, all the best independent wrestlers were at this company. And at the time, I was trying to wrestle for Ring of Honor. I was trying to try out for Ring of Honor, and they just didn't really have anything for me. I was just a kid that was talented, but that doesn't break the mold. There's a lot of people with talent, but I didn't bring anything else to the table. So Kevin had told me, "I think you'd be a great fit for PWG." You couldn't tell me anything. Then a year went by, and I never heard anything. Then one day I was just traveling to I think some other show. I had actually got a booking, and I get a message from Cedric Alexander that says, "I need your email." What? No one's ever asked for my email. And this is like, what? 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 And I send him my email and go, "What's up?" And he goes, "Oh, we may be booked for PWG this weekend. This is Wednesday, and PWG was supposed to happen on Saturday." So I'm like, "What? What do you mean we might be booked for PWG?"
Nothing like a little heads up.
Wait, what? So then he says, yeah, they're doing this show called Mystery Vortex, which is where they don't advertise anything. It's just a complete mystery. And he booked us, me, Cedric Alexander, and my close friend Andrew Everett. So I went from never being booked on, like a good show to now being flown all the way from North Carolina to Los Angeles, California. And as you could tell, I'm from small town North Carolina. So to be able to go to Los Angeles for free
Right.
to wrestle for this company that all the best guys were at right now. So this was the greatest time that I could have ever have went to PWG. Roderick Strong, Kevin Owens, all these guys were there at this time. And I remember going there and just being like, they're not going to be able to tell me no after tonight. After tonight, I'm getting brought back for Bola. That was my goal. Battle of Los Angeles is their big singles tournament. And I was like, my goal is to be able to get brought back to that. And that night was insane. We literally wrestled through an earthquake, and that happened here recently in Japan
Yeah,
as
I just
well.
saw it happen on this past weekend in Japan.
Yeah, but there's a moment in our match where Andrew Everett does a springboard shooting star to the outside, and you can kind of tell in that moment that the ring is a little shaking. And then he does that, and the whole crowd just explodes, and it's kind of hard to tell. But we had actually wrestled through an earthquake at that time, and we had no idea.
That was my next question. Did you
Yeah.
realize what was happening at
No
the time?
clue. No clue. We got to the back, and they were like, "Did you realize there was an earthquake?" And we were just so high on adrenaline, we were just like, "What are you talking about?" No. And then that was the moment that changed my life. From that night, my Twitter exploded, and then next thing you know, I was being flown all around the world at 20 years old, uh, and I just got to just go to all these companies. I got to wrestle the best people in the world, and that led to me, going on to wrestle for Impact Wrestling. That was my first television deal, and then ultimately that brought me to the WWE. Um, like I had said before, my father, solo father that raised me, he his claim to fame was he was an extra uh, on the night that the Hardy Boys won the tag team titles for the first time. Uh, so that's really cool. You can see there's like there's a vignette right before the Hardys go out where a paramedic talks to JBL and says, "Mr. JBL, you probably shouldn't be going out there. You're a little banged up from last night. I think it was a pay-per-view the night before.
Fresh on. Do you not have medical clearance to go to the ring tonight? I can't allow you to go to the ring.
Yeah, right. You know, you talk.
And JBL basically just punched him in the face, and it was awesome. That was like his big claim to fame.
It's a little Easter egg on the WWE Network.
yeah, it's absolutely great. So he was always the person to tell me that I had it. He was always the person to tell me everything that would come. And sure enough, I just reached out to Mr. Regal. I was tired of where I was at. And I said, hey, I know you guys didn't want to sign me before. You had mentioned before that when I become 24 years old that you would bring me in as like a maturity thing.
Sure is. I've seen it happen.
Which is understandable because like I've mentioned before, I'm a psychopath. So
casually admitting.
yeah. That's the first step. You got to work through your problems. So I hit up Regal and just tell him I'm tired of where I'm at. I'd like to come there. And then he just messaged me back. Oh, yeah, we'd like to sign you. What? Okay. So actually I called my father and I told him the news I wanted to tell him my entire life. And unfortunately, that was the last time I was ever able to talk to my father. The last news I was ever able to give him was that the WWE had signed me. I called him on a Wednesday. That Saturday, I received a call that my father had passed away with a heart attack. Devastating.
Oh my God, man!
Yeah,
I never knew this story. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
no,
I never knew that story either.
It's okay. That's why I want to tell it because
Please.
he always would tell me that he was here for me, and then when I finally got to where I was supposed to go, it was like he was able to rest, and it's terrible. It breaks me up every time, but it's what I mean. You can't write a better story.
No, man. That's a real life Cinderella rags to riches, all of the cliches, man. You've lived it. That's incredible. I had no idea. I look at it with a whole new level of respect now.
So I got signed to WWE, and then there was no telling me no at that point.
So you're a guy that you just run through a litany of experience. But you got to work with the best of the best on the independents. You spent some time in Impact and kind of learned a little bit about television. Now you come to WWE. Now you're part of NXT. What's the learning curve like for you as you first step through the doors?
Yeah, it's everything that you could ever want. You look at college athletes and you see these universities, and it blows your mind when you see like these locker rooms for these football teams. They have their own barbers and stuff like that. Then you come to WWE, and that's what we have. We have that college university style gym. Everything is so top of the line that if this is really what you want, there's no way that you cannot come here and become great. The first coach I had was Norman Smiley, and every day he would just make me laugh because he would just beat me up and I would have no idea how he did any of it. So I would just start laughing, and that was my first coach. So that was great. And then I move on to Terry Taylor, who's the most passionate man probably at the PC. And if you're a psycho, like I said, and he's a perfect example of just passion and just just pulls it out of you.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. I don't think you could find anybody, particularly from my generation, the FCW early NXT crossover, your Rollins, Bray, Roman, all those guys. I don't think you could find somebody who hasn't had a heated, passionate argument with Terry Taylor. But then a year down the road, you find yourself in the situation, you go, damn it, Terry was right. It happens to all of us, and we laugh about it now. But you're right; he's so passionate. In the moment, you go, "Man, screw this guy. He's telling me how to live my life. I know what I'm doing." And it's one of those life lessons you don't appreciate till way down the road. But Terry's the best for that.
You ever sit at home and just hear "grab a hold"? All of a sudden, in the back of your mind, because it happens to me when I'm just watching shows. Sometimes grab a hold, and I just what? Where's Terry Taylor at? Because he's in my head. Because I could hear him yelling at people, or like when we would do skull sessions. I mean, it's crazy to think about Terry Taylor sometimes.
Too often do I sit around and go, frick,
because Terry doesn't cuss anymore.
Exactly. So that was always great. And getting into his class, he made you feel like you're the star.
Yes.
that was his main goal, is that his guys were stars. And you need to be told that. I mean, we all have egos. I mean, we can all admit it. We're in an ego-driven sport, but you still need every once in a while, especially in a building full of 100 different guys that are all competing for that spot. You need someone to say you're a star, and Terry Taylor knocked that out the park every single day. And then you move on to Shawn Michaels, the greatest of all time, and then you're just hanging out with him, and then he's telling you that you're a star. So you're like, I'm really a star. Like, if Shawn Michaels is calling me a star, you can't tell me nothing.
Right.
So I absolutely love it. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better area, anything. It's just great.
You sort of set me up for a question I definitely wanted to get to. And you mentioned being in there with 100 or so people. This is the environment that is the Performance Center, and in the early days of NXT, basically, no matter who you are, you've got that same field, that same competition. What stood out to me initially, you had a buzz about you, right? I knew who you were when you got there. I'd see you on TV from time to time. I got to call your match at TakeOver 30 alongside Vic, but it wasn't until recently, and right here on After the Bell, Vic and I had a discussion several weeks back about how NXT is overflowing with the most talented competitors and athletes from around the globe. But to me, I feel like there are very few people that stand out from a character perspective. This all ties into Terry Taylor telling you you're a star and Shawn Michaels telling you you're a star, but you need to figure out how to separate yourself from the bunch. How did that come to be for you?
So that kind of started in the last, I would probably say, year and a half before I came to the WWE. I was still doing the independents. I was still doing Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. And at the time, they were bringing in so much international talent. Um, and I believed I could do the stuff that they could do. But ultimately, I realized not as good. So then I had to realize, how can I stand out on this show, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, that brings in all the best talent from around the world? How can I still stand out and be a guy that people are going to talk about at the end of the night? So then I just started talking. I would just grab the microphone without permission and just cut a promo before each one of my matches. And before this time, I wasn't necessarily good at talking in front of people. I've always been, I would say, charismatic, I guess. Like, if I know you in person, like, I feel like people laugh at a lot of stuff I say. I like to believe I'm a comedian. But I didn't know how to like translate that
Right.
to the audience. So then I just started practicing in front of the audience, and this is the best way that I could have done it. I did a couple times. I did some stand-up stuff like in my local town, just to try to get more comfortable and talking on the mic. And before I know it, I had lost my mind, and I was just say whatever I was feeling that night, and people would started to kind of laugh with it and started to get along with it. And then before I knew it, like, I just wanted to talk more than I was actually wrestling.
But it's a result of you forcing yourself out of your comfort zone. Like that's something that not a lot of people in our business or anywhere in earth are willing to do. Usually you kind of stay in your lane and you force yourself to come out of your shell, man. That's strong.
And I think that ties in too, Grimes, with what, like, and Graves, correct me if I'm wrong, from being in the Performance Center as well. People can see that, like Terry Taylor can see that, Shawn Michaels can see that. And I think overall, that's what, man, this kid wants it. He is a star. He's going that extra mile because, truth be told, there's a learning curve when you come to the WWE, you come to NXT. I don't care what anyone wants to say about it. We all have had pasts. I had to go to a vocal coach when I got here. Graves, I don't know if you had to do any of that when it came to announcing.
I showed up perfect, man.
Yeah, no doubt. But that's a lot about the man who is Cameron Grimes taking that extra step because of the craft that this is, the art form that Graves and I talk about every single week, that is pro wrestling. So hats off to you.
Yeah, so I came in kind of feeling like that I was a little bit I was getting there on the mic. But then when I came into the WWE, there's that, I knew what I was, but when they brought me in, they didn't know who Trevor Lee or who Cameron Grimes was. They just knew that I was a guy that they wanted to take. So I had to kind of, re-show that and kind of show these people that I could do that. And like I said, I was terrible in school. Don't get it wrong that I wasn't probably terrible here as well. I said that this is the perfect place to learn, but uh, I got in trouble for not going to promo classes. I probably should have got fired. Um, but I did a couple of the promo classes, and then it just seemed like monotonous stuff, and I don't know, like you can only be told like good job so many times before you're like, all right, I'm just not going to go to promo class this week, and then I don't go that week, and then I don't go the next week, and then eventually, I got in trouble because people are going to tell on you. Like I said, there's 100 people in the PC. People want a spot, so I got in trouble. By getting in trouble, I had to go to more coconut shows. If you guys know,
Oh, the Coconut Loop. Yes,
Yeah, buddy.
the
Yeah.
smallest towns in Florida. For those uninitiated, basically, if it's a town and you are within the state limits of Florida, the youngest crop generally of the NXT superstars travel from town to town in front of.
the greatest crowds.
It's all about learning, though, man. It's the invaluable experience. I remember when I first got signed. I was, going to England every month or every 6 weeks, wrestling in front of 2,000 or 3,000 people and making some money. And I had a cup of coffee at Ring of Honor, and then you get a crowd. And then you come to, it was FCW when I got there. And I remember the first night, there couldn't have been 25 people in the crowd in Tampa. And I
It's
went,
crazy.
I remember looking at Rollins because I had known him from the Indies. And I went, I thought we signed with WWE.
I'm a WWE superstar.
Right. Well, and these people have no idea who I am. They don't care about me. And then it's just funny. And then you realize, again, it's those long-term lessons where you go, oh, God, I know how to do what I do in front of this crowd because I had to learn to do it in front of 20 people. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Grimes, I don't think I ever thanked you for the crowds in Lakeland. Appreciate
Hey,
the house.
I brought the house. Let me tell you, I've wrestled in every town there is in Florida. I am the king of Dade City. so, so then, like, the frustration builds. You're in this place with 100 people. They don't know who you are. So ultimately, I wanted the world when I came in the door, and I didn't get it. I mean, of course. So then that builds that frustration, that builds that fire, and that helps that passion that Terry talks about. It helps bring that out. And so I was just like, it doesn't matter if they give me a spot where I can just try to show a little bit of this. I know that I can stand out with that. So then it started with the Cameron Grimes. I didn't know who Cameron Grimes was. I didn't know anything. So then I just grabbed something. So then I just said I would do Cameron Grimes. And then before you know it, I would walk around the PC and people would go, Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes. And when Triple H walks up to you in your voice and goes, Cameron Grimes, you go, I'm doing something right.
Yep.
And then it just progressed from there. And then I would just take stuff from real life. I'd gotten into the stock market a little over a year ago, and stocks to the moon is a big thing because everybody wants money, and everybody wants to put money in something and watch that money go to the moon. So then I just started using it, and I used it one time, and it was another one of those things where someone did the to the moon. I was like, well, I got something again here, and I just keep dumb and
So you're telling me that the whole to the moon thing in the stock market, this isn't just some character thing you made up completely.
this isn't a character thing at all. I've never, like I said, I was a low income family. I never had any money. So when I started to make money and I put it into my savings account, I noticed interest rate on your savings account is just awful. Like you have to have $1,000 to make 1 penny. And I was making money, but I wasn't making enough money to make money
Right.
off my entrance. So I was like, this is awful. So then my friends were, starting to get into the stock market as well. So I was like, well, this is interesting. And a company, Barstool Sports, was becoming publicly traded. So I had kind of knew about Barstool Sports and I had liked what they were doing. So I said, this is the day. This is day one that they're getting on, that they're opening. So I felt like I was getting a deal, getting something day one.
Get in on the ground level.
So I got in, and then it was crazy. Like they say you're invested, but really, once you put your money into it, you're invested. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at stock videos on YouTube like I was watching Ring of Honor in 2008. Like I was like into it, and then I got lucky, and then the GameStop and all these things kind of blew up, and next thing you know, I'm a millionaire.
that just blew my mind. I don't
Right.
even know. That's it. Vic, take over. I have no more questions. I'm
looking at my little notes here.
No, I'm listening just from where we started. The story of Cameron Grimes. It's absurd.
It's a Hallmark movie.
And forgive me. I don't mean to say this in a negative manner. It's Joe Dirt in real life. You are living this. You've made it now. This is insane to me. I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
I think you have it figured out more so than anyone else, dude. To be very frank.
You just keep doing what you're doing. The rest of us are the ones that need to figure it out. My God.
So when's the book coming out that you're about to write on how to go from rags to riches, Cameron Grimes style?
I definitely think that there is a book here. Like I gave you like the short Cliff Note version, but like it's terrible.
and brother, let's be honest. You're just getting started. You got a long way to go here.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
We talk about To the Moon, Graves. What was it in the Cameron Grimes? Where'd Kiss My Grits come from? That's what I really want to know, because I've been hearing Kiss My Grits for weeks now.
Right.
Alice.
Did you just wake up one morning and go, hey, babe, kiss my grits? Like, what?
I wish I could take credit in that one, but we were going to be debuting the new Cameron Grimes, pulling up in the Lamborghini, which, what?
I'm going to get to that one here in a second. Just don't worry about that.
You think I'm going to wrestle Dexter Lumis? You can kiss my grits. You think I'm going to wrestle zombies? You can kiss my grits. Woo, 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 woo.
And I said it, kiss my grits. That's kind of funny. And then, especially, the way I sound and everything, it just sounds great for me, personally. So, we used it and it hit.
It fits perfectly, but correct me if I'm mistaken. I might need a producer to add it. There was a show I used to know it, I believe, from Nick at Night called Alice.
Yeah.
And that was her thing, like whatever, that was her response. But this was 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, so, I wasn't alive during that time.
I'm not implying you stole it. I think it's just one of those.
No, for sure. Yeah.
That's absolutely wild. But to that point, Vic and I had the conversation weeks ago about we've got the most skilled wrestlers on the globe in NXT. But to me, for my money in the sports entertainment realm, Cameron Grimes right now is at the top of the mountain for the total package. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I watch way too much wrestling. So I say that with the utmost respect.
And I appreciate that, man, so much, honestly.
Well, it's another thing too, Graves, that you talk about is talent sometimes, and you use The Miz as an example. And I don't want to compare the two, but if The Miz is told, run out of the arena in your underwear, he's going to do it to the best of his abilities. Cameron, just learning his story here in this was, hey, man, we want you to wear a hat, wear a vest. You got any funny sayings? And he took it, no pun intended, to the moon. And again, that's a hats off to Cameron Grimes, the performer, getting something and going, okay, well, I'm going to make this the best damn thing you guys have ever seen.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool guys in wrestling. Like, there's going to be plenty of those from time to for throughout history. There's always going to be the cool guy. What we do is ridiculous. Like,
yes.
it's not that cool, really. Like if you ask a regular person, they're going to call us a loser. So I'm okay with that. Like I said, when I was in school, all I ever wanted was attention. Entertainers like to seem complicated, but we're not complicated. I can explain it pretty easily. Have you ever been to a birthday party for children and one of those children who won't stop screaming because he's just a little attention attractor? When he grows up to be a comic or actor, he'll be rewarded for never maturing, for never understanding or learning that every day can't be about you. There's other people, you selfish. And that is me. That is me. I just want people to laugh at me. I just want people to acknowledge me. I just want people to know that I was there. So if I got to run out in my underwear, let me tell you, Miz, I will take that spot. All right.
I think I just found the forward to your book too, Grimes. Whatever you just said, just put that in right now. And there's the first page.
Yeah, just have somebody transcribe that. That was beautiful. I wanted to talk for a second. I was thinking when I knew we were going to chat today, you mentioned your upbringing, growing up close to the Hardys, and just think of the Carolina wrestling scene. I think back to Minneapolis in the 80s, and that's where the Road Warriors, Rick Rude, Kurt Hennig, I mean, a who's who. I could go on. I'm sure I forgot 25 people, but you look at the Carolinas, not only from the business perspective with Jim Crockett Promotions and whatnot, but you've got the Hardys, you've got Shane Helms, Shannon Moore, Cedric Alexander. I mean, and again, I'm sure I'm missing 50 off the top of my head. Is that something you realize? Like, is that a conscious existence, or do you just kind of go, oh, that's just what we do? We just wrestle.
So here's the thing. North Carolina is the 48th funded state in America for education. We got to find something to do. You know what I mean? We could barely read. I don't know the difference between a noun and a verb, but I know how to fight. So that helps. A lot of us, we didn't have a lot, but what we did have was the love for this thing, professional wrestling, and seeing those characters and seeing those guys, Greensboro, North Carolina, Ric Flair, you know what I mean? Like Dusty Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, those guys were tearing this area up. If you were to see that, how would you not want to emulate it? How would you so it's easy, I guess, for us uneducated bumpkins to pick up something that's so ridiculous.
I love the self-deprecation. We're talking about this insane story that is real life, and he's still referring to himself as a bumpkin. You've outsmarted us all, Grimes. Damn it.
You're sitting there a moment ago. I'm thinking, brother, you got GameStop money now. What are you talking about looking at us for?
That number 48 ranking might have worked out in your favor.
Yep. There's I graduated with a 1.7 GPA. The only reason that they let me graduate high school is because I ran a wrestling show for my school and gave them all the money. So they were like, yeah, I guess we got to let this guy leave, you know?
You're going to be in government one of these days, man.
I've always said
hallmarks.
I've always said that everything that I've ever wanted to accomplish, I've done. So why can't I be in a Fast and the Furious movie? Why can't I be the president of the United States? 2032, Cameron Grimes.
I love it. We're taking America to the moon. That's going to be on those T-shirts across the country one of these days. I fully support it. I think it's amazing.
There's no reason it can't happen.
What's next in the immediate future? We know we've got the first ever 2-night NXT takeover headed our way prior to WrestleMania. No concrete plans as of this moment, but let's pontificate. Let's shoot for the stars and the moon. What's next for Cameron Grimes in the immediate future?
So Cameron Grimes, I've always been described as a good hand. In the business end, I've always been described as a good hand. I think it's time now that Cameron Grimes becomes that top guy. I think it's now time that, I still may not be ready for it, but I'm at least ready to try. We're in a time where there's a lot going on, but like you said, I'm standing out and I'm not ready to step back yet.
I love it, man. Anybody on the top of your head, anybody that Cameron Grimes watches on TV and goes, man, I can't wait to mix it up with that dude.
Yeah, all the guys on Raw and SmackDown, I'd love to work. I never got to work with Bryan Danielson. He was one of the guys that wasn't at PWG at the time. He was one of the first guys to go. So he was a guy that I always, looked up to. I would love to work with him. I'd love to work with Jeff Hardy in WWE just because, the story's there. As far as NXT, I never got to work with any of the Undisputed Era guys. Those are the guys that are the key to NXT. Those are the guys that have carried the brand for so long. And I'm ready now to show that I can hang with each and one of those guys. I've got to work Finn Balor. I used to look up to Finn Balor. I got to work him earlier last year. So that was great. I'm just enjoying it all. Like I'm not going to get upset if I don't get certain things, but just even if I'm just working the lowest guy on the card, it doesn't matter. Just honestly, just let me talk on the show. I could go the rest of my life without ever wrestling again. I can tell you the truth right now. If I never fall on the ground again, I'll be okay. But at least let me talk.
I love it, man. That's the right outlook. And I think too many guys, especially in our era, are so concerned with, I can do this cool move. I know this amazing spot that I saw or I borrowed from Japan. And yes, that'll get you somewhere. But I'm saying this from my own personal perspective. Again, no disrespect to anybody in NXT. They are all wildly talented. But at this stage of my fandom and being in the business as long as I have, I look for who stands out and why. And as I said it multiple times, right now on NXT, Cameron Grimes stands out in a big, big way. I am genuinely enjoying the hell out of everything that you're doing. I want to go back for a second. Your eyes lit up when you mentioned rolling up to the Performance Center in a Lamborghini. How did that whole day come about?
So we did the Great American Bash, NXT did last year. And if you remember, we had like a Corvette, like an old model Corvette, and a Viper, a Dodge Viper on set. And I, when I was growing up, I was a dork. So like Fast and the Furious was awesome to me at that time. So like I saw like all these cars, like, man, that's so cool. And I would play like Need for Speed games. I was like, man, I always wanted a Lamborghini. That just seemed like the coolest car. It was really a rocket ship. So we did the Great American Bash, and I saw these cars, so I cared more about looking at those cars than worrying about the show that day. And I got to meet the guy that brings in the cars, and I got to meet him and talk to him for a little bit. And I was like, man, he was pretty cool. And another thing that Terry had kind of instilled in us is that just the guys that are in the locker room aren't the only guys that we work with. We work with a vast variety of production guys that honestly are way cooler than we are.
Amen.
If you actually like talk to these guys have done a lot of cool stuff. Like Skip, our like lead production guy.
Yeah.
He's worked with like Whitney Houston in England. Like he worked on Titanic, like all this cool stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, like these guys are really cool.
Yeah.
So,
And he's got a great boat, Cameron. He's
Oh,
got
I
a
know,
great
brother.
boat to go out and go fishing on.
yeah, I went deep sea fishing with Skip, and it was great until we got to the point where I couldn't see land anymore. And then I was seasick, and it was absolutely awful. But I started to talk to these guys and become friends with these guys. And if you notice, like we do arrival shots a lot. Like for instance, like Pat McAfee shows up, and Pat McAfee is a known millionaire, but he pulls up in like a Chevy Tahoe. And then we have like Legado del Fantasma pull up in a Honda Sonata. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like I could
There's a
have,
disconnect. I get.
it wouldn't have been cool if I would have pulled up and beeped the horn on a Toyota Corolla. So I just went straight to them and was like, "Hey, I'm going to be wanting to do this, and I know that this guy has this Lamborghini. Kane is his name. He has this Lamborghini. I follow him on Instagram. He loves working with us. Please get me that Lamborghini."
It's like you guys weren't expecting me.
There's a funny story. I had to learn how to drive this Lamborghini. I don't know if you've ever drove in a supercar, but it's not that easy.
Did you ever decide? Did you tell the guy like, "Hey man, I had to go learn. I don't know how to drive this thing"?
No, I didn't. I didn't tell him anything. He was like, "All right, I'm gonna have to show you how to drive this thing." So sure enough, I get to take it around the block, and I'm going as fast as I can go for 10 miles per hour. I mean, I am tearing the streets up in that thing, and I do a couple laps around the circle, and I come to pull back into the PC, and as I'm pulling into the PC, there's a man standing in the middle of the parking lot, and that man is Canyon Seaman, who is kind of a big
Director
deal.
of Talent Development. Yes.
Yeah, he's kind of the guy that says you're fired or you're hired. So sure enough, I'm in full get up. I got the nice suit on, everything, and I pull up in this Lamborghini, and he doesn't see. He's on the phone because he's a busy man, and he's just standing in the middle of the parking lot. So I just pulled up on him, and I just blew the horn at him, and he looked up so mad until he saw my goofy smile just behind the Lamborghini, and he politely laughed and got out of my way.
Oh, that's tremendous.
That was the night, by the way, Grimes, when you pulled up in that Lamborghini and unveiled that persona that Beth Phoenix wrote on a piece of paper to me. This is my new favorite character in all of WWE. So that's a little bit behind the curtain for everyone that while we're live, she goes, "New favorite character, exclamation point," with that big Beth Phoenix smile. And I was like, oh, here we go.
I'm pretty sure that was the same night I tweeted the same exact sentiment. I was like, oh my God, what is this? I don't even know what this is, but it's amazing.
Truth be told, Graves, you might have texted me during the show and
I
been like,
might have.
he's the best thing going in NXT right now.
Grimes, I am very, very difficult to excite about anything. I feel like I've called every superstar, every kind of match. So when something stands out and kicks me in the teeth and I go, this is fun, then I become like a little kid inside. I mean, that's kind of the recurring theme for today's episode is like Graves remembers why he likes this business.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Grimes, something I have been wanting to ask you was some recent social media interactions with Virgil.
Yeah, everybody wants a piece of the cake, you know. I think the breadsticks at Olive Garden are unlimited and they're free. But once you start getting into the pasta, that's where the bill starts to add up. And
Yep.
and I think I think he just wanted I think he wanted to get an extra side that week, but he wasn't getting off a piece of my money. He can kiss my grits. That's what I had to say.
There you go. It's not how much money you have, it's how much money you keep, right?
The rich get richer. It's not rocket science.
There you have it from the man himself, Cameron Grimes. Cameron, any parting words for the ATB faithful?
I just want to say again, thank you so much, guys, for having me on here and being able to genuinely kind of tell the story and not be overvamped. I feel like I have a story that I want everybody to know because, like I said, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And as generic as that may sound, you guys heard it. Anything is possible. Everything I've ever said I've wanted to do, I've been able to do so far. So just keep it on. Thank you again. Again, I'm just so grateful to be able to have this opportunity to be able to talk to you guys and for you guys to be able to laugh and enjoy it and not make it seem like I'm a loser. So I just want to say thanks again so much, guys.
No, man, I learned a lot about you today as the person, and for me, and I don't want to speak to Graves, I have a greater respect for the man behind the character after sitting here today, because respect is really what this industry is built on, and we've all been around and have all hit the roads, and your story, to learn some of that today was eye-opening to me about everything you've had to go through to get to where you are, and that is truly an inspiration.
And you always have an open seat and a microphone here on ATB, man. Keep doing what you're doing, Cameron. I am enjoying the hell out of it. Hopefully you do some big things at TakeOver. If not, if you do, either way, you're always welcome here, man.
Thank you so much.
Like what you hear? Catch full episodes of After the Bell on Spotify. Follow us now and never miss an episode.